That which can't be easily replaced is always close at hand, accessible for frequent use, presented on demand. But don't forget, don't get attached. It's just a bunch of things. The person is the item from which all true value springs. Passengers are allowed one carry-on item that can fit in the overhead compartment and also one personal item. So what I have in this shoulder bag are the irreplaceable things, the things that I'll need access to on a regular and continuing basis during the travel period, and things that are generally more valuable that I keep close to my person at all times. This is what goes underneath the seat in front of me as opposed to being in the overhead or checked. So first thing is my laptop. So I am a laptop type of person. I'm not a smartphone type person, so this is how I do my business. And then there is the smartphone. Generally, if you see me around Saipan, I won't ever have this with me unless I'm specifically on a tour. So it's as a safety precaution. But generally, I'm not attached to the cell phone. So when I leave my house, I keep it at home. But for travel purposes, as you know, your boarding pass, your COVID test results, your onward ticket, all of that information needs to be shown, and much easier to do it that way rather than to print it out. And I don't have a printer. So my smartphone as well, that's usually in my pocket, but I can keep that here as well. Let's see what else. My passport that we mentioned earlier, that's also generally on my person in my pocket. And some reading material. A friend of mine gave me a book, Mindfulness in Plain English, that I can use during the long layovers. I have a, let's see, mouse. It's more comfortable for me rather than the trackpad on the laptop. I have a USB dock. So there might be an occasion, my laptop has 2 USB ports. However, there may be things that I need to plug in, multiple items that I need to plug in that will exceed 2. So this is a port that allows 1, 2, 3, 4 extra items with USB connections to be plugged into my laptop at the same time. So that's pretty valuable. I have another tripod that's primarily for the smartphone, but this will come in handy for taking photos along the way if there's no one I can ask to do it for me. And power supply for my laptop. Headphones. And generally I keep all the wires and plugs for all my equipment in one place. Little drawstring bag, power adapter, battery charger. The Sony camera that I have, the battery doesn't last that long, so I have 3 batteries in all, and I keep them continuously charged as much as possible. So that's there as well. I have another mini tripod for the Sony camera. I decided not to travel with the GorillaPod. Might have been convenient, but it was getting a little too bulky, and so I decided against that. And Bluetooth remote for my smartphone, and a Bluetooth remote for the Sony that I'm using right now to film this. Extra SanDisk cards, memory cards. I have 2 extra ones, 64 gigabyte. And I have, as I mentioned earlier, my throwaway socks and a mask. And now I was wearing masks way before COVID whenever I'm on a flight with people coughing and sneezing around me. I've been wearing my mask ever since I've started traveling. More miscellaneous cords and wires and a filter for my Sony for when I do outdoor shots. Again, all of this is primarily stuff that I'll need to document the journey and little items that can easily get lost if they're not all in one place. And this, just as a precaution, my green card as a Jamaican citizen, U.S. permanent resident, my green card actually expires this year. So I've started the process to renew it. I don't anticipate being out of the U.S. in September when it expires, but in case I need to show anyone that the process renewal process has been initiated, I have this as well. And that's it. So those are all the things that I have, that I travel with as a nomadpreneur. I'm now Jamaican in Manila, and I will share with you next some of the things that I've bought since I've been here. As I mentioned, I may not have mentioned that I have a friend who has an empty condo here in Manila, so that's actually where I'm staying right now. But so as a result, I've had to buy certain things to make life just a little bit more convenient, and I'll share those with you as well. And that typically happens wherever I travel. Whenever I stay in a hostel, I end up buying certain things, appliances or brooms or that sort of thing, and then end up just leaving them where I stayed. So I'll share those with you next. Hope this has been helpful in some way to give you some ideas and strategies for your travels, and I'll see you in the next video.